Hey everyone, today we're going to look at a few underrated mods for Skyrim that have flown under the radar for a lot of people, including myself, and may surprise you by how good these mods actually are. Let's jump right in with a mod called Acolyte Divine Covenant. This mod overhauls and introduces new mechanics to the religion system within Skyrim. You can now devote yourself to one of the 9 divines, but there is a catch. Initially, you will be seen as a convert and actually receive a debuff. For example, Mara will reduce your magicka regeneration by 50%, but as you increase your devotion, you will begin to receive rewards from your chosen divine. Again, for Mara, at the highest level of devotion, you will receive 5 different enhancements, including making all restoration and alteration spells 20% more powerful. Each divine has their own theme that makes sense within the lore of Skyrim. To actually gain devotion, you will need to pray once a day, and to become a master of your divine requires 100 levels, so it will take you 100 days to reach that level. This can be sped up through shrines, increasing the efficiency by 50%. You will also be required to show your devotion and wear the amulet of your divine. If not, your devotion will begin to decay over time. I found this take on religion very refreshing, and it made sense that initially these religious entities want you to prove your loyalty to them and grind through the lower levels. Then once you have proven your devotion, you are rewarded with their blessing. Each divine takes a significant amount of time to master, so you will have to think about what blessing you want from an early stage. Next is a mod called Skyshards Offer Skills. This mod will reward you with a Skyshard whenever you defeat some sort of boss. However, the most common one is called a Splinter. That requires you to collect 5 to form a complete shard. Each Skyshard itself can be used to increase one of your skills or grant an amount of experience. There is also a small chance to find an epic Skyshard, which will give your character 1 extra perk point. I found this a great way to naturally integrate character progression into the game by rewarding the player for exploring dungeons and defeating a boss other than just the standard loot you would receive. The mod also comes with a mod menu that lets you adjust the settings on how each Skyshard will drop. Then we have a fantastic weapon mod called the Ilieh Cry of the Damned. Other than looking pretty sweet, this sword also comes with a unique enchantment that has unlimited soul steal and damages the enemy's stamina. On top of that, it has a very special visual effect and an eerie sound when drawn. The sword itself is available in both one-handed and two-handed variations, and also features an unenchanted version. This is a great sword with a very unique style, and one I have been using a lot recently, but isn't that well known, so I wanted to share it with everyone. Moving on, we have a very violent spell mod called Festus Krex Insideout spell. If you have ever started the Dark Brotherhood questline, you may remember Festus Krex mentioning a spell that almost turned someone inside out. Well, this mod brings that spell to life in a very gory and brutal manner, where your enemies will literally be turned inside out into a pile of flesh onto the ground. This is a master level spell, so it does require a large portion of magicka, but once you get there, it is incredibly satisfying to use and watch as your enemies explode in front of your eyes. Unfortunately, it only works on human enemies, so creatures and Draugr will still take damage but will not explode. Overall, this is a super fun spell to play around with and has very little downloads, so I highly recommend you give it a go. Now we are going to get a little bit crazy with the mod called Judgement Cut End, which adds a power inspired by the Devil May Cry series. This power allows you to perform a large area of effect attack with your weapon, cutting down all of the enemies around you. I get that it isn't very immersive or fit well within Skyrim, but it is incredibly fun to use and cool to watch. It is also very powerful, doing a boatload of damage to enemies in a large area around you. In fact, almost every time I used the power, it destroyed everything in my vicinity in one shot. To balance this, it does have a 90-second cooldown, and it will use all of your magicka. Definitely check this mod out if you're looking for a fun build to play as some sort of ultra powerful Ronin. Then we have the mod called Precision Trail Magic Replacer Chaos. This mod replaces the weapon trail from precision for enchanted weapons to be more fantastical. It works with all enchanted weapons, and each enchantment will display a different color. For example, a fire enchantment will be orange and a frost will be blue. Overall, it looks very stylish and will add some nice flair to your weapon swings. It also works in both third person and first person, so everyone can enjoy the mod. Next up is a mod called Louder Nature. This mod simply increases the sound of the ambient birds and insects around Skyrim to make the world feel more alive. Here is a quick example. The amplified sounds give the world a very immersive and friendly feel, making the forest of Skyrim a joy to walk around and listen to the nature. Personally, I really enjoyed this mod. Speaking of walking around Skyrim, next we have a quality of life mod called Infinite Stamina Out of Combat, which essentially gives you infinite stamina when out of combat, so you can run around Skyrim without any restrictions. The important detail being out of combat. If you do happen to enter combat, your stamina will begin depleting like normal, so this isn't going to make you overpowered. It only allows you to travel around without being restricted by your stamina level. There is also the equivalent Infinite Magicka Out of Combat mod by the same author for those interested. Lastly are just a few visual mods. The first is called Witcher Decor in High Definition, which replaces the braziers around Skyrim with a beautiful model that complements the Nordic style of Skyrim very well in my opinion. It also looks very good in the city of Windhelm. So if you're wanting to freshen up the fire pits you find around Skyrim, go check out this mod. Then there is the mod called Eternal Flames, which replaces all the fire in the ruins with blue eternal fire. It also extinguishes other sources of light, such as candles, making the ruins become much darker, so make sure you bring a torch. It also gives the game a creepy vibe that matches well with the undead enemies. So if you like that kind of thing, I recommend having a go at this mod. And finally is the Whiterun Horse mod, which adds a majestic horse statue to the entrance of Whiterun City. This glorious statue matches perfectly with the theme of Whiterun and gives the city a touch of character. If you are really loving the statue, there are a few extra options to add even more horse statues throughout the city of Whiterun, but one was enough for me. And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope I helped you find a couple of hidden gems to add to your load order. Otherwise, I will see you all again next time. Cheers.